Here we are at the All-Star break, and the Atlanta Braves are a game under 500, 44 and 45, and 4 games out of first place. Now, most teams who may be 4 games out of first place the All-Star break would not be in too much of a panic mode, but for the Atlanta Braves, we have to admit that we are all holding our collective breath about this team because there are issues. There have been issues all year long, one thing after another. In fact, I have never seen in all my years of watching the Braves a first part of the season where this many things happen to make them less than what they're supposed to be. Just when we may have thought, well, what else could happen to this team? You have to turn around and say, well, that was about as big of a hit that a team can take when you lose your best player and one of the best players in the game, in Ronald Acuña. So what are the Braves going to do? Well, they've got a brutal schedule to start the second part of the season. They start the second part on Friday, 3 games with Tampa Bay, then 3 games with San Diego. Then they have a road trip to Philadelphia, the team that's right in front of them in the National League East, and then the Mets in New York, the team that's in first place in the National League East. Those 2 weeks between this Friday and Friday, July 30th, which happens to be the trade deadline, will define what this team is going to do before that trade deadline. If they can stay in the race somehow, some way, even with the outfield that's not very good and a lineup that's going to be very questionable with Acuña gone, maybe Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, goes after more talent. But if not, if they fall back further than even 4 games and maybe 5, 6, 7, or 8 or more, then I think we can expect some other type of moves to happen. It doesn't mean that Alex Anthopoulos can't look for players who could help his team next year. That could still happen. But what if some teams who were World Series contenders called about Charlie Morton? That's a guy who could go right into a rotation and be a World Series starter for a team. So that could be a very attractive trade piece for Atlanta. They could get maybe some help with their farm system, which is in real desperate need for some more help right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens these next 2 weeks. There's no doubt about it. If they play well, hey, you owe it to the team to go for it, right? You owe it to them to try to add another bat, add another reliever, and see what happens. Even though we know realistically, without Acuña there, it's going to be very, very tough. But if they struggle, we could see this team kind of traded off one piece at a time very quickly before July 30th.